Okay. Uh, Good afternoon and welcome to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. We're having one or two issues with the broadcast, but welcome back. We have a question, and the question is simple: which way for Yoruba Nation? Is the current structure or leadership effective? We will talk about things and we'll go through things a little bit. If you're watching, please do share. You know what to do. Let's share. I just wanted to just touch base because I'm not too sure, and I'm not too sure or not happy with what is going on, and I'm sure many of you are not. Here's a number of reasons from my point of view why there are concerns about what is going on. There's no point in us trying to pretend that Yoruba Nation is working right now. We should be very, very. One of the first things that you do is there's a saying, if you dig yourself a hole, the first thing you need to do is to stop digging. That is what I firmly believe. If you dig yourself a hole, the first thing you do is to stop digging. And I am afraid to say that what we are collectively doing right now with Yoruba Nation is just digging a hole. Now, take for example, if somebody is digging a hole and they're digging away and they're saying, yes, I am right. Yes, this is my way. You have to follow me without question. So one person digs a hole. Another person digs another hole. Now we have two holes. Now the place that we are supposed to be headed is Yoruba Nation. But those two holes that they've dug, they will continue digging, believing that theirs is the right way, not knowing they are just digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper, that will ultimately detract us from where we're supposed to be going, which is Yoruba Nation. So let me say that again. Sorry. So let's do this again. Good afternoon. Sorry about that. Good afternoon and welcome to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Good afternoon and welcome. If you're watching us for the first time, please go ahead and subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. We really need your support in doing so. We've had one or two, thank God, issues of late. And one of the reasons why we're coming back out today is we've got the pictures of our leaders in this struggle, of those who have, we all generally accept to be our leaders in this struggle. And at this point in time, I really believe that we need to question what is being done, how it's being done, what is exactly happening, what does this signify for those of us who believe in Yoruba Nation? What is the message that is being sent out? Is the message consistent? Are we comfortable with it? That is why the question is posed, and it says, which way for Yoruba Nation? Is the current structure or leadership effective? This is something I would really like to discuss, because I have been watching what has been going on for the past few weeks. Not only myself, we all have been watching, and we are all affected by what is going on right now. Whether or not we agree, or whatever it is you might think about the situation, the fact remains that we are in a situation such that the struggle has somewhat floundered. What we have now is effectively people who we are who are supposed to be the leaders in this struggle, they have a divergent view of how to approach the struggle, and that is a problem. There is not a clear and consistent move towards where we are supposed to go. One person will come and say, no, 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 we're going that way. Another person will come and say, no, 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 we're going that way. And in the middle of those two are the people who are suffering daily, Yoruba people suffering daily from bad governance, from persecution, from killings, from oppression. So this, good evening, Alex Victor. Good evening. And I wanted to just touch on this. I hope you can hear me all right. I think you can probably hear me. So let me see. So I think you can hear me all right. Let me just hear that. Oh, yes, you can. Yeah. Okay, 1 second.
I think you can probably.
Yeah, you can. You can. Okay. I was just checking it as I go along. So the question is this. Which way? Let me just see if I can do something quickly. Then I'll come back, straight back. I want to show you something. Oh, it might not let me do it. So I better not play about with that too much. It is working fine. So don't rock the boat, as they say. So I won't rock the boat. But I just want you to just take it from me that the question we are asking is this. Which way for Yoruba Nation? Which way for Yoruba Nation? Is the current structure or leadership effective? Those are the questions. Which way? So we need to ask ourselves which way we are going. How is this what we should be doing? Is this the steps we need to be taking for Yoruba Nation? We have Mrs. Onitiri, Madam Onitiri there. We have Professor Banji Akitoye. We have Oloye Sunday Igboho. We have Chief Professor Adeniro. Now, those were what we perceive to be the leaders, up to a certain, up until the last few days, people have sort of trusted them. Now, let's just run through the sequence of events that led us to this point. You remember there was a discussion about declaring Yoruba Nation. Round about the middle of December, they've been hearing muses. We've been hearing rumbles of people saying we're going for Yoruba Nation and discussions around that. We've been hearing that consistently. But we all thought, okay, maybe, then there were discussions whereby people were brought on board and said, okay, you know what, let us, what's the word? Let us give it the benefit of doubt to see maybe they can iron out something. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. December was supposed to be the time where the declaration for Yoruba Nation was going to take place. Declaration, and by all accounts, for many of the Yoruba people, there was an impression that yes, we are going to get. We announced the declaration and we get Yoruba Nation, and then by the 1st of January 2023, we have Yoruba Nation. However, we need to be very, very clear about something. And I am being clear today, and I'm speaking for myself. I can't speak for anybody else. I cannot speak for anybody else. I'm not the spokesperson for Yoruba Nation. I am not anything. I am just a Yoruba man talking about Yoruba Nation and the state that we find ourselves right now. Now, what we got for the last few months has been nothing, in my point of view, nothing but a failure of leadership. Nothing but a failure of leadership. If we are not prepared to be honest with ourselves, then we should not even be thinking about this struggle. If we are not prepared to be honest with ourselves, and in no way, shape, or form am I going to be disrespectful to anybody on this anybody, in this struggle, there is no need to be. But what we do need to do is to be strong enough to say what is right, what is wrong. What is going on right now is not right. What is going on right now is not right. And what steps are we prepared to take to fix it? I put it like this. When you are digging and you get digging away, and you realize that you've made a mistake, the first thing that you do is to stop. So we have two opposing views, one digging in one direction, another one digging in one direction. We are at the point now where asking all of those who are in this struggle, who say they are working on behalf of the struggle, to stop digging right now. Just stop. Stop digging. Stop everything. Let's take stock. Stop everything. Let's take stock. If we don't do that, the danger is either side will continue digging. The one will dig away, the other one will dig away, and in the middle of those trenches dug, going in different directions, will be the people, the Yoruba Nation people, who will be left wondering what is going on. We are already collectively wondering what is going on. We are all collectively at this point wondering what is going on. Why is this happening? We are all wondering. That is why that song, I keep telling you, the song is right. How long will not go this suffer? How long? How long? And the leadership that we have now is not performing to where we're supposed to be. Let's take stock. I can only speak for what we did in Oduduwa TV Radio and Citizen AY. Back on the 20th, I think, 28th of March, I think it is, or April, 2020, I think it's 2020 or 2020. We set up Oduduwa TV Radio. We started bringing broadcasts where we encourage people, if you are interested in Yoruba Nation, join us in the struggle. And many of our colleagues today, many people that you know today, Lady B, Omoba, Amotekun, there's a guy from Brazil, I can't remember his name. There's a guy who was in Greece. There was a guy who was in Israel. There were so many people. Aropoire, Ijinle, many people. At one point, we had a broadcast that was going on almost every hour of the day, as much as possible. There was very little time. And what we were doing at that broadcast was talking about Yoruba Nation. And we were singing the Yoruba Nation, Yoruba Nation anthem, and encouraging ourselves. And we were saying we want four things, Ishoko, Ibo Fagba, Ominira, and Isowopo, in Yoruba language. So all of that was around Omoluabi, being, staying true to our Omoluabi ethos, working for unity, respect for the elder, and and collective spirit, collectively working together for Yoruba Nation. That was what we stood for, and that is what we still stand for in ODTVR2 today. And that went around the world rapidly. We were one of the first to put this back-to-back live broadcast about Yoruba Nation. We were one of the first, if not the first, I don't know, and we were the ones like Akogun says, David Hamilton tells us that we were the ones that were singing the Yoruba Nation national anthem, and we brought it to the fore. And not too long after that, we were involved. There's videos or evidence of what we're saying. There was a discussion whereby Yoruba World Congress came about. They actually launched the first World Conference for Yoruba World Congress, YWC, on the platform of Oduduwa TV Radio in conjunction with and Citizen AY. So when we talk about this, it's not about trying to dig up history, but we need to state the facts. Now, along all those times, we were all in this struggle talking about it's time for Yoruba Nation, because we all saw one thing that was clear. Me speaking, I was supporting Omoyele Sowore, and I was part of the team that went in 2019 that got people together under the banner of African Action Congress and got a number of people to go for positions, i.e., House of Reps, senators, governors, House of Assembly in Nigeria back in 2019. Now, when that election came and went, we saw that the election was rigged. We saw that there was no other way for us to be able to improve the lives of our people other than to go for self-determination. That was what swung us to going for Yoruba Nation. And to put one more thing, the one final straw for me personally that made me go for Yoruba Nation was when, after the courts told the Nigerian government to free Omoyele Sowore, they wouldn't free him. And when they eventually freed him, he was only limited to Abuja. Then I said, no, I don't believe in one Nigeria anymore. I cannot believe it, because one Nigeria is not even complying with its own rules and laws. And that was what led us to go on now and speak for Yoruba Nation. And we canvassed opinion online on Citizen AY, on Oduduwa TV radio, to see what people felt. And then I remember we spoke with Alagbade Thomas, Yomi Koiki was on board, Akogun was there, Erelu was there. There were many people. Egmont Frank Bello was there. These are history. You can go back and look at what I'm saying. Don't take my word for it. Go back and look at what I'm saying. In the middle of all of that, Professor Banja Kitoye was brought on board to speak on Alagbade Thomas Heritage TV's platform first. There was an issue, and then Erelu was on there discussing that, and then Are Onokakafo, Iba Gani Adams, Logofe came on the show. Then Yoruba World Congress leader Tajuddin was on there. Then we had discussions among ourselves. Then other people, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. Shola Salako, Alagba Jakinola, and other Professor Killer. There were, this. I'm trying to give us the history of how we got here. All the while we were talking about the need for self-determination. And we were encouraging our people, let's start donating here, let's start doing this, let's start. And in the middle of all of that, later on, Oloye Sunday Igboho joined us. I'm just giving a bit of a picture of what happened and how we are where we are right now. Now, one of the two things that started happening was not too long when Yomi Koiki went down to, when he went back home. We were talking about the clamor for Yoruba Nation was really going, and we all wanted to start making some changes. So the broadcast continued. We were doing a lot of protests. We went to different down the street. We went to Trafalgar Square. We're still doing a lot of all of that, and many of us believe that. We even had plans whereby we were doing live programs direct from home, and that is still being done now. So many of us were really on board that struggle. There is no doubt about that, and we are still are. But then the issue of money started becoming an issue when Oloye Sunday Igboho, I think when his house was attacked or something, when what's her name again, Ifeoluwa, when she was ultimately arrested and everything else, there was and before I go to that, we had a Yoruba Rescue Fund whereby some funds that we raised together, we used it to get bikes that was given to both. Half was given to Are Onakakanfo and half was given to Oloye Sunday Igboho to help with spreading the awareness about Yoruba Nation, and of course, where possible, providing protection for our people. I'm stating all of this so we know how we got to where we are. So do bear with me. Now, one of the things that I want to actually then go on to say was that then the issue of the GoFundMe came about, whereby there was some people opened GoFundMe on behalf of Oloye, and then the funds came, and then they got donated, and then somehow there was a disagreement. I remember getting involved closely, but then I thought I'm not privy to everything, but we can work on this and come to an agreement. But anyway, ultimately the money got returned. Then that was packed to one side, and then there was more discussions. Then of course it came to the point where Oloye Sunday Igboho's house was attacked, and there were, two people were killed and all of that. So we, then not too long, various kind of GoFundMe and accounts were opened to raise funds and to be able to help with the movement. So people were donating, and the commitment was there, and is still there now. Anyway, the problem started, from what I could see, was around the issue of the funds, where they were going, how, and there was a disconnect. I kept saying, and I remember saying, every time somebody was killed, in our communities, that I did not feel that we were really protecting those communities or doing something, being active enough in the communities to spread the awareness and to protect at the same time. I remember stating this, and I've said it over and over. The glaring one was when the man whose hands were cut off by the Amoteku man was cut off by the Fulani terrorist. Until today, this Yoruba Nation, we haven't stepped in to help him, directly. We've not, many people have died, and we've not really taken that situation over. So that was a source of concern. Of course, the fact that Baba, Professor Banji Akintoye, and Professor Adeniro and Oloye ended up in Benin because of the threat to life and threat to arrest them for supporting and standing for Yoruba Nation. That was another issue as well. So I remember all of us going around chasing. And remember we all remember the huge protest where Oloye was there, and there was a real groundswell. People felt we were in the right direction, we will get this. But what has happened since all of those highs is a series of lows. Unbeknownst to many, there are a lot of discussions. There are still continuing discussions and disagreements about funding. Many people have received funding, and the funding has not necessarily gone to where it should have gone. So I'm just giving stating I'm just stating what is going on. So many people have given. Please do share this broadcast, and of course, please go ahead and subscribe to Citizen NY on YouTube. Let me do something quickly. I'll click my YouTube platform. I'll click it on the broadcast, so that way you can do it. It's not live. I'm not live on there yet. I will stream this there later on, because I still have one or two technical issues that is affecting things. But I wanted to show this to you first. So let me just see if I can get that up. 17 subscribe to Citizen NY on YouTube. So let me just make sure. So I'll just put something on there. There's a young man, anyway, that died. And again, I'll come to that now. But what I want us to do is to basically, I'm trying to chronologically state the state of things on how we got to this point. So anyway, so going back to what we're saying. So the issue of the funding becoming an issue. There was supposed to be a central account, and that dragged for months and months and months, and then so there was some disagreement, and something was set up, and then there was a one for London, one for UK, for US, and so on and so forth. Then all the while we're still having rallies. But of late there has been a lot of disagreements, and one of revelations by Mayego about some funds going missing and everything else, and we start questioning what is happening. And of course the disagreement between sections of the Ilano movement and within them, and of course Mamoni Tiri and the declaration and reclamation and all of that. I state all of this because we need to be very clear with ourselves. What are we trying to achieve? We need to ask ourselves that question. Where are we going? What is it that we're trying to do? Are we taking the right course of action? Should we not pause and assess what we have done up to this point? If you notice, I said the awareness was really going, and I stated now the awareness is there. But the next steps that we need to take now, are we really taking it? That is the question that is very much something that we need to look at.
And so on and so forth. Then all the while we're still having rallies.
So that is where we are now. We are now at this point now where there needs to be a lot of questions that has to be answered by many people. And maybe we need to really relook critically at the whole setup, root and branches we look, you know, at what it is we are trying to achieve within you know, for Yoruba Nation. What is it we are trying to do? You know, what are we trying to achieve? What goals have we achieved? Anything that we set out to do? Is the current organizations that we have on ground, are they fit for purpose? That is to say, are they serving our ultimate collective goal of Yoruba Nation? And I think we need to be asking that question among ourselves tonight, and every other day. And we mustn't relent until, of course, we get that. So I'm just going to pin this message here. So please, as you're watching me, subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. I will restream this there later on, so you will see it. I'm just going to try and pin it if I can. 1 second, let me just see. Sorry about that. So the reason I'm stating all of this is to simply make us really look at what is going on, and make us assess the whole movement, root and branches and everything. For me, the current situation of having what appears to be two different leadership in the movement has meant that instead of us focusing on the real struggle of Yoruba Nation, it is now struggle about who is going to lead. Two different things. Instead of focusing about Yoruba Nation, it is now about who is going to lead, who is the best leader, you know. So Vine Maxwell, thank you very much, my brother. Yeah, thank you, I appreciate you. So and James Friday, thank you very much as well. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to Citizen AY on YouTube, please go ahead. You can see the numbers are very much down on Facebook. That's why I tend to do the broadcast on YouTube. So but like I said, of late I will get that sorted out. This evening I thought it's best I speak, and over time we will be moving completely to YouTube, and we can do it that way. But the question still remains. The question remains, you know, which way for Yoruba Nation? Is the current structure or leadership effective? And we said which way. I said which way because there are two leaders suggesting two different things about the same Yoruba Nation. And that cannot be good for the movement. That cannot be good for the movement. Now, the question now becomes, if the leaders that we all sort of warmly accepted to be, you know, we wanted them to lead and we believed in them, if we feel that there is a divergence among them, can they really continue to be leaders in this struggle? That's the question I'm posing to you. Can they really be leaders in this struggle if instead of having a single point of direction, we're having 2 points of direction? So which one will the people, and we the people are in the middle, the people who the struggle is for, the people who are suffering, who can eat 3 square meals a day, whose lives are being taken willingly. The young man, Adeorioke, I think Adeorioke or Adeorioke, I hope I'm saying the right name. He was killed on Monday. In my estimation, and I'm not perfect, in my estimation, I really think that we have to relook at how we organize rallies on ground at home. In UK, in US, in Italy, we don't have such problems because you are allowed to protest. Nobody's going to turn a gun on you. But when they're going to turn the guns on these youths, then it requires us to have a proper planning of how and when these rallies will take place. I, myself, and this is only my view, my opinion on all of this is that I felt and I still feel that the rallies that we've done is not having a central thinking and review and a proper process around it. And that speaks to a fundamental issue about our struggle. It speaks to a fundamental issue about our struggle. The struggle that we're in now, that we're trying to go for Yoruba Nation, we've gone very much, many of us, we've gone with passion. And there's nothing wrong with passion. Many of us have been so moved by what is happening to our people, and many of us realizing that we are abroad in a foreign country, not able to do anything, but being trapped in reluctantly being forced to take actions, leaving our own homeland. Many of us felt frustrated that, oh, this is not wrong. And when we heard about Yoruba Nation, we thought, right, that's it. So the Yoruba Nation became a kind of like a coalescing point, a central point where many of us gathered around and we could let off steam and we could concentrate our passion. The passion drove us to give and commit whatever we wanted to commit to the struggle. We were willing to commit because we wanted to improve the lot of our people at home. Excuse me, sorry. 1 second, please, 1 second. Sorry. Oh, goodness me. Yeah, so I just had to switch the thing on because it's a bit cold. So, now, the thing is that many of us in the struggle, we have really gone forward with the passion. The passion in us drove us because it spoke to, every time we heard about Yoruba Nation, we were all thinking, you know what? I am part of this Yoruba Nation. Why did I leave a beautiful land? I left a beautiful land, a land of milk and honey, because of bad government, because of the oppression of my people. So when we had Yoruba Nation, it appealed to our innate, passionate self to see a better Yoruba Nation. It appealed to that. So many of us, we went into this struggle, myself included. We went into this struggle believing that if we spoke about it, if we just worked together about it, if we all stood together, then it will surely come. And in the first year or two, that was okay because it was still building the awareness and the momentum. But in the third year that we are in now, I beg to put before all of us that passion alone will not get us to where we need to get to in terms of Yoruba Nation. Now we go to the next stage. For me, I think we now go to the next stage of reviewing. You might think that, oh, we could have reviewed first. No. The passion was what was driving all of us. The passion and belief in Yoruba Nation, that we will see it in our lifetime, that was driving many of us. So we were not necessarily looking at the structures that we were trying to use, the vehicle that we were going to use to get to Yoruba Nation. We were not using that. Isaac, Ray, Richie, Felix, thank you very much, my brother. We were not looking at the structures. We didn't think about, hang on, what effective? We were all, because we were all saying Yoruba Nation now, Yoruba Nation, and we were all saying that. That drove us. That kept pushing us. It kept, yes, we were using, and we were getting a groundswell. But the dangerous thing is to have a group of people trying to achieve a goal without having a solid foundation. That's why I'm asking that question. Which way Yoruba Nation? Because we are gone two ways right now. Is the current structure or leadership effective? Let us ask that question. I'm not here to abuse anybody. It's not my place. I'm not